Welcome How to Scrum. My name is Sarfraz, and today I'll be talking about waterfall versus agile approach used in project management. What are the differences between these two approaches? As you know, waterfall is a very sequential way of working. In the beginning, you gather all the requirements that needs to be done, gets approved, and only when they're approved do they move into analysis and design. Once that's done, do the team starts building that into a product? And once that's done, they move that into testing. Only when it's fully tested does that get implemented. Now, these are very sequential steps. And if the requirements are done early in the year, and by the time it gets implemented is end of the year, any changes in the middle will not be possible to do unless the project takes a change control, which means more time, more cost. So it is very good if you know what the requirements are and you know exactly what you're building and the team is ready to do that. But if there's a change required within that, then it's very hard to do unless you put a change control or change request, which may cost more money. What's the difference between that and then Agile? Well, Agile is no different to what Waterfall has stated. Waterfall says from requirements to analysis to implementation, testing, and maintenance. Agile says you do the same thing, but you don't do it over a longer period of time. You do this in a very short period of time. We call it a sprint. We call it a 2-week sprint. Within that 2 weeks, we do the full requirements, analysis, and design. We build it, we test it, and then we do demo. It's the same thing. All the steps in Waterfall are within the Agile framework or Agile approach, but just that the timing is different. Here, it could take almost a year or 6 months, depending on the project complexity. Within Agile, it is done the same thing, but over 2 weeks period, and then it's repeated over and over again. So it is a mindset. Waterfall and Agile is just a way of working, and it's a mindset. So if you want a sequential waterfall way, or do you want an iterative agile way? Or do you want a longer period of project deliverables versus shorter 2-week sprint incremental project deliverables? Agile is a mindset or a way of working, and no different between the two. So what is the best time to use waterfall? Well, it's good to use waterfall if, as we mentioned, you already know what needs to be built. The requirements are clear and approved from the get-go. The development is consistent. For example, you're building something in the back end like an API. So therefore, there's minimum interaction between the stakeholders, the users, and there's hardly any screens to build that needs to be demonstrated. The project teams are globally based sometimes and not 100% dedicated because they have other projects to take care of. And they are therefore working on multiple assignments. So the waterfall is, you know what you're building, there's not much interaction, we just need to get on with it, and you do that, and you use waterfall. What happens if it's not possible that you know what you want? The end product is an idea or a vision, and the requirements are not 100%. So you should use Agile in that situation because the project is very much user interface based, screen based. So there needs to be lots of short development cycles to be demonstrated. And the product needs to be incrementally developed, demonstrated, and get a feedback from the stakeholders to say, is this what you want us to build? Are we going the right way? Any feedback they give is adopted into the next sprint. So therefore, you're always trying to pivot to get to the right product that is in the minds of a stakeholder what they're looking for. So it is not very clear, but you're doing it on an incremental basis to make sure that they get to the right destination. And the project team has to be 100% dedicated because you're working in a very short 2-week sprints. You cannot have somebody working on multiple projects if they're not 100%. There's too much work to be done by an individual if they are not 100%. Now, I have come across many organizations where it is not possible to have a Scrum team or Agile team that is 100% dedicated. So you as a Scrum Master needs to take care of that and try to lessen their workload where possible. So the whole idea of Agile is that you're really not sure what you're building, but you have an idea and the product owner, the stakeholders are telling you what to do. So you are incrementally developing it, demonstrating, taking feedback, and then pivoting to take that into consideration. And the team that you're working with, they're 100% dedicated. But can you do hybrid approach, bit of waterfall, bit of agile? And the answer is yes. I have used it as a Scrum Master in my working career. I know the requirements were there. We did the analysis and design, but when we came to the development phase or the build phase, I took the development project plan and I moved it into an agile approach. So we broke down the development workload into small chunks of work and dedicated a sprint, which are 2 weeks long, to do that. And after every 2 weeks, we demonstrate to the stakeholder, is this the right product that we're building? So we did this incrementally, as many sprints that we could get within the phase build that was timelined in the project plan. Within that timeline, we tried to cut out or slice as many sprints of 2 weeks long as possible, and we demonstrated. Once we done that, we moved the whole thing back into testing phase, which took care of the waterfall approach and moved that into deployment once that was done. So the answer is, whenever you get an opportunity in a waterfall project, if you get to a development phase and you are able to be more flexible, try to adopt the agile approach. Try to cut out the work into small chunks of 2 weeks and have the team do that for you. Thank you so much for watching. This is How to Scrum. The idea here is to make you an effective Scrum Master. Thank you for watching.